So there's a lot of lessons that we can learn from the history of pandemics. In our new Smart Guide to Immunity, we actually go in depth into the whole history of pandemics throughout time. One of the most valuable lessons is actually from the Black Death in Europe that occurred in the 1300s. Almost 200 million people died over the course of just 4 years. The worst part is this plague kept resurfacing in Europe for the next 300 years. It kept popping up about every 20 years and decimating the population of major cities throughout Europe. So this actually came to a head at the Great Plague in London in the 1600s. So there's actually a lot of lessons to learn from this. Why did it suddenly stop in the 1600s? Well, let's back up a little bit and go back to Italy. So the Venetians were the first one. It was a major trading port for Europe. The Venetians were the first ones to refuse entry to sailors that would sail in through their ports. So they would actually keep the sailors on the boats for 40 days, which was called a quarantino. And that's where the modern day word of quarantine comes from. So 40 days they were locked on those ships until they were deemed healthy enough to enter into the city. So during the Great Plague of London, this actually killed 100,000 people in just 7 months. So that's a really, really high death figure. So the Londoners actually took it one step further and said, all right, we'll do the quarantino that you guys did. But what we're also going to do is anyone that's sick, we're going to mark their doors so we know that there's sick people in there. We're not going in there. And any family members that emerged out to go buy groceries and things like that for the household had to carry a white pole. So there was the very first social distancing then. So people knew to maintain a safe amount of distance. Also, public gatherings were banned. Anyone who was sick and household members were forced to stay at home. And this actually effectively ended the Great Plague of London and the plagues in Europe in general. So this is actually tremendous, tremendous lessons that we can learn ourselves. That's why it's so important right now to socially distance or physically distance ourselves, even though it's so hard and we miss our friends and our family. But this is one of the best things we can do, because what they did in London, what they did in Venice, all those years ago actually is what effectively ended the plague for good. So this is what we're going to do now. So stay strong, you guys, and make sure to download our Smart Guide to Immunity Health to get more tips like this.